Very good morning, cadets. Welcome to online class. Subject History, our past part 3. In the last video session, we briefly introduced the names of the chapter for the academic year 2021-22 for the class 8th. Today I'll show you, or let us discuss briefly, what are the important topics which we are going to study in the various chapters. Chapter number 1 is how, when and where. This chapter deals about the classification of history. The classification of history based on dates. So we studied in class 6th and 7th ancient and medieval Indian history. What is the basis for this classification? The basis for this classification is date, centuries, isn't it? Up to 16th century considered as modern Indian history, medieval Indian history. After 16th century, modern Indian history, and prior to first and second century AD considered as ancient Indian history. So the ancient Indian history also we have early history and later history. So here what is important, that what is the basis for this classification is purely on the basis of dates. That is what is considered. In this chapter we are going to study in detail about the various dates and how the classification of history is done. And another important topic which we are going to study in this chapter is periodization of history by James Mill. So James Mill, in the year 1817, a Scottish economist, political philosopher, published a massive 3-volume book called A History of British India. So what is the name of James Mill book? The name of James Mill book is A History of British India, and here he divided Indian history into how many periods? 3 periods. So he divided Indian history into 3 periods. They are Hindu, Muslim and British period. So till now you may heard only about ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history and modern Indian history. But according to Scottish philosopher James Mill, he divided history, that is we are speaking about Indian history. He divided Indian history into Hindu period, Muslim period and British period. So this classification of history by James Mill we are going to discuss in the chapter, and we are also going to discuss what are the problems of Mill's classification of history, because Mill's classification of history is not accepted. That's the reason why your class 6th, 7th and 8th book is not divided as a Hindu period, Muslim period and the British period. Rather it is divided as ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history and modern Indian history. I hope you are getting my point. We are also going to discuss in detail about the colonial power in this particular chapter. So, colonialism. What is colonial? Okay. You know very well, India was a colony under the British. So, who are the colonial masters? The colonial masters were the British. So, British captured India and controlled the administration of India. So, what is colonialism? Colonialism is nothing but one country by another, subjugation, control by one country and controlling political, economic, social and cultural aspects or changes. That is what impact of colonialism. So that we are going to discuss in detail about colonialism in this particular chapter. You know very well, cadets, in our school you come across with the SRO, that is school routine order, then daily instructions. Notice every now and then you are closely observing or watching notice board, is anything is displayed in the notice board. So we have a systematic administrative procedure. Okay, and you know very well, cadets, when you join in class 6th, if a personal file is opened in your name, in that all your details are kept safely by the school. Even after several years, if you visit school for some official purpose, they open those official records. So in our school we have a system of record keeping, that is called personal file, maintaining personal file. So this administration procedure or procedure of keeping records, it is definitely started by the British. So that's what we are going to discuss about, the record keeping system introduced by the British, and we are also going to discuss about how the record keeping system is considered as very useful. At another important topic which we are going to study in this chapter is survey. So today we have population survey, agriculture survey, survey of rainfall, survey, each and everything there is a survey. Survey is nothing but systematic calculation or collecting the details of any particular issue. For example, population survey means the government of India taking stock of the total number of population, in India. So what is the use of survey? That is what we are going to study in brief. Of course there is no detailed discussion, but the intention is very clear that the system of survey, system of record keeping, everything was started by the British. Actually British wanted to project that it is purely because of their effort the Indian administrative system got in today's procedure. So agreeing this topic or not, that let us decide or when we complete this particular chapter. So when we complete this chapter, of course the question and answers and all those things we have to discuss. So try to understand, cadets, the chapter number 1, very interesting chapter. Here of course a very small and chapter, is a brief chapter, because we study only the periodization of history, Mill's periodization of history. We also study about survey system, we study about colonialism, and we also study about the system of record keeping. Let us move to chapter number 2. So chapter number 2, cadets, in the next, of course, coming video sessions, I'll explain you about certain important dates which you have to remember in class 8th, because starting from death of Aurangzeb onwards till 1950. So the chapter 2 is very important, because in this chapter we discuss several new topics which you may not come across till now. This chapter deals about the establishment of English East India Company's power in India. So English East India Company. So English East India Company established its power in India. Now let us try to understand here. You know very well that Vasco da Gama, who landed in Calicut, discovered the sea route to India from Europe. Means before Vasco da Gama, early in the ADs itself, Alexander invaded to India from Macedonia or Greece. So Alexander travelled in which route? He travelled in the land route. Vasco da Gama discovered sea route. That is what very important you have to understand. Now, why Vasco da Gama was forced to discover sea route? Try to understand the topic here. From Europe, this is of course Europe, from Europe to India there is a direct land route. Okay, but in the year 1453 this particular land route was blocked by Ottoman Turks. I repeat, in the year 1453 Ottoman Turks captured a place called Constantinople. So Turks, or the present day Turkey, they captured Constantinople and not allowed any European travelers to travel to this route to India. So they blocked this. Now the blocking of this particular route forced the Europeans to discover a sea route. Okay, so they were forced to discover a sea route from, so covering a distance of African continent, reaching Cape of Good Hope and crossing Indian Ocean and reaching this particular place called Calicut or Kozhikode. So Vasco da Gama's discovery of sea route is really happened because of the closing of land route between Asia and Europe. So in this particular chapter, that is chapter number 2, we are going to study in detail about this particular topic. And this word called mercantile. Okay, you see here, mercantile. Mercantile means a trading company. This here you see a business enterprise that makes profit primarily through trade, buying goods cheap and selling them at a higher price. So basically, the British who visited India as traders. So why they visited India? Mainly for the purpose of purchasing goods from India for a cheaper price and selling those goods in a higher price. That is the purpose. So we are going to study about all these things in detail in this particular chapter. So here it is given, you see, Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer who had discovered this sea route to India in the year 1498. So please write down Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese means he is a person who belongs to Portugal, and he crossed the Cape of Good Hope, the tip of Africa, and reached Calicut, that is in state of Kerala. So in which year? In the year 1498. So this chapter we are going to study about the introduction of various trading companies, English East India Company, French East India Company, Portuguese settlements in India, and very important because in this chapter we are going to discuss about the battles. Battle of Plassey. The Battle of Plassey in the year 1756. Of course, the Battle of Plassey date 1757, started in the year 1756. 1757 Battle of Plassey. Why Battle of Plassey is so important? When you write any competitive examination, from history part you can expect few questions from this particular, that is Battle of Plassey. Why it is very important? Because Battle of Plassey opened the gates for the British administration in India, because British were not actively involved in the administration till 1757, but after the Battle of Plassey, the Nawabs of Bengal, they became puppet Nawabs. So this is what? Puppet Nawabs. So very interesting, because we are going to discuss about all these things in this particular chapter. And we are also going to discuss about the Battle of Buxar. Okay, so Battle of Buxar, it fought in the later years, and we are going to discuss about the handing over of power in Bengal. And in this particular chapter we are going to discuss how British captured India in a very systematic way, in the sense they first captured Bengal, then captured South India. So in South India means we are going to discuss about the Tipu's counter-attack with the British, that is Tipu Sultan, popularly called as Tiger of Mysore. So Anglo-Mysore War, 4 Anglo-Mysore wars. So, and how Tipu and his father Hyder Ali in the initial days, how they gave strong opposition to the British companies in India. So in this particular chapter we are also going to study Anglo-Maratha War. So at that time there is a discussion of Battle of Panipat. If you remember the third Battle of Panipat, because we studied about first battle, second battle, and third battle of Panipat. First and second battle of Panipat fought. Involvement of Mughals is seen in first and second, but third battle of Panipat, it is between Marathas and Ahmad Shah Abdali. Marathas also fought war with the British, so they are called as Anglo-Maratha wars. You can see here the first Anglo-Maratha war, second Anglo-Maratha war. Okay, so Anglo-Maratha wars, and we are also going to discuss about the policies introduced by British, that is doctrine of lapse. There is a time where we discuss about the famous Kittur, the Kittur Rani Chennamma, how Kittur Rani Chennamma resisted against the British of policy of doctrine of lapse. So this particular chapter, there is a discussion about doctrine of lapse, and how the kingdom, several kingdoms were captured by the British under the policy of doctrine of lapse. So the chapter number 2 is very, very interesting as well as informative chapter, because it gives a lot of informations about how the British government or the English East India Company established their trade in India by winning various battles. So I hope you got a brief idea about chapter number 1 and 2. Thank you.